You are not born where a future ruler is supposed to be born, not in a capital, not among palaces and titles, but on a wild island where the air is soaked with salt, gunpowder, and a constant sense of hostility. Corsica gives no privileges, it gives character. The moment you arrive in France, you understand at once that you are a stranger here. To the Parisian aristocrats you are a provincial with an accent that grates on the ear and a surname too long for them even to try to pronounce correctly. At military school they mock you, not out of cruelty, but out of contempt. They are heirs, you are no one. While they study manners, duels, and talk of honor, you immerse yourself in numbers, diagrams, and calculations. You study the trajectories of cannonballs, the force of impact, and the cost of a mistake. You have no money, no connections, no support. All you have is fury, discipline, and cold calculation. You realize early that justice does not exist, it is replaced by force. The world around you begins to crack, the old order rots, and you feel chaos approaching. And instead of fear, confidence rises in you. Because in the coming fire, it will not be the one born with blue blood who survives, but the one who first learns to turn disorder into a weapon. Toulon becomes your first arena. The place where it is decided who truly deserves power. You wait for no mercy from your commanders and hope for no favor from fate. The artillery under your command comes alive. Lead flies exactly where it is calculated to fly, and the enemy has no time to understand what has happened. Your army is hungry, exhausted, and scattered. But you turn it into a machine that knows no doubt. Through the Alps, through snow and mud, through fear and fatigue, you lead them. Promising honor and riches while delivering death and glory. In Italy you fight like a lion. Every battle is your exam, every victory a declaration to the world. You did not come to ask, you came to take. In Egypt you taste conquest, as the desert and the river become the arena of your strategy. And every victory reminds you that people worship the victors and fear those who do not tremble when it is time to pull the trigger. With every battle your reputation grows, and enemies begin to whisper your name with unease, while allies whisper it with hope. You understand a simple truth: power is given to those who know how to lead, not to those born with a title. And when the world is engulfed in revolution, you are already ready. You do not look back, you do not doubt. Ahead lie only victories, only battles, only the fire that you have learned to control better than anyone else. Your path has only just begun, and no one knows what price your ambition will demand. Paris trembles with blood, intrigue, and whispers. You enter the assembly hall not as a soldier, but as a master, and even the air seems to submit to your will. Brumaire. The coup, power falls into the mud, and you simply raise it on the tip of your sword. The consuls become meaningless, and titles lose their weight. You no longer ask anyone's blessing, because you yourself have become the law. In Notre Dame Cathedral you take the crown from the hands of the Pope, not for permission, but for a symbol. You do not wait for anyone to recognize your power. You created yourself. Every glance from your enemies is a death sentence. Every smile from your allies is a step toward their future glory or downfall. You understand that now your signature is law, and your decision is the fate of kings. Europe watches, and the world learns a new truth. Strength matters more than tradition. Resolve matters more than lineage. You taste power mixed with danger, but this does not frighten you, it excites you. Everything that came before was merely preparation. Your mind sees the map of Europe, every city, and every army, like pieces on a chessboard, and you know, you are no longer merely a participant in events, you are their architect. The world begins to understand that there is no joking with you, that every step of your army, every one of your commands, changes the fates of millions. And while Paris holds its breath, you are already ready for the next strike, the next victory, the next proof that chaos obeys you, not the other way around. You are law and destroyer at once, and the whole continent feels it. You stand at the top of the world, and it seems as though the continent itself is subject to your will. The map of Europe unfolds before you like a chessboard, and every movement of your army is a step toward absolute victory. Austerlitz is your masterpiece. You lure two empires into a trap, and, unaware they have fallen into your web, they shatter to pieces within a few hours. You create a new aristocracy. Marshals, yesterday's innkeepers' children, now command armies and rule the fates of cities. Every day your glory grows, but with it grows the pride that threatens the empire you rule. You believe you can subdue even winter, turn rivers, and march through snow without defeat. But beneath the surface of success lies an abyss. Your ambitions know no limit, and you turn your horses toward Moscow, not suspecting that this is the beginning of your downfall. Every step is calculated, every battle a spectacle, and Europe applauds your genius while fearing your resolve at the same time. But inside you tension grows. Victory turns into a test of fate, and triumph into a harbinger of trials that no commander of the past could have foreseen. You rule without regard for the old order, rewrite the laws of war, and know clearly, people admire not those who are right, but those who win. You have become the sun around which armies and kings revolve, and while the brilliance of your genius blinds everyone, few suspect that a shadow is already growing over your empire. You look upon Europe as your state, but the price of power is always great. And only time will show whether the sun can remain bright or will burn out, scorching everything around it. The Grande Army, once formidable and invincible, turns into an endless line of corpses, drowning in snow and mud. Moscow burns, but this fire does not warm, it burns away your pride and ambition. You watch your dreams melt away with the ice and snow, while allies, loyal yesterday, turn into predators who scent blood. Every step back is suffering, every loss a lesson in the cruelty of the world. The first abdication, the small island of Elba, seems peaceful, but you know it is only a pause before the eagle's final flight. Everyone thinks you are broken, that the end of your era is near, but inside you a plan of rebirth is brewing. The 100 days that will change the world will once again make the continent shudder and remember who he is. You learn a painful truth. Greatness always walks beside danger, victory beside betrayal, and time waits for neither the strong nor the weak. The army melts away, cities empty, hope dies for many, but your resolve does not yield even to frost and death. You understand that history demands sacrifices, and sometimes you yourself become the instrument through which the fates of millions pass. Every step, every decision is a balance between greatness and ruin, and you feel the weight of every mistake, for its price is measured in human lives. And while the world thinks you are gone for good, you are preparing for your return, for the final strike that will make everyone remember your name and understand that even ice and snow cannot hold back an eagle if it decides to soar into the sky. Saint Helena. A rock in the middle of the ocean, where the only enemy is boredom and fog, not an army or an enemy on the battlefield. You, who once ruled millions, who rewrote the laws of war and the fates of kings, now argue with an Englishman over every trifle. The wind beats against the cliffs, waves break upon the shore, and it seems the whole world has forgotten your name. But inside you remains an unbroken strength, a clear mind, and the same resolve that once made you an emperor. You will die not merely as an exile, but as a man who created a new order, who changed a continent, who left behind laws, strategy, and ideas that will outlive the centuries. Millions of graves from Madrid to Moscow are the trace of your power, your victories, and your mistakes. History may argue about you, dividing you into hero and tyrant, but no one can deny your genius as a ruler and a commander. You changed the world, and even in exile on this lonely rock your energy, your will, and your legend do not fade. Your victories, your reforms, your code, these are proof that you are not merely a participant in history, but its creator. You remain a symbol of power and ambition, a man who rose from the provinces and proved that strength, strategy, and resolve turned the mortal into an emperor, not merely a ruler. Even here, in solitude, you remain the greatest of those who dared to rewrite the fate of Europe. And this greatness nothing and no one can extinguish.